welcome to Bus Speakers. I'm Kush,
And Alex.
and today reviewing "I Decided" by Big Sean. Now, Big Sean has been in the rap game for many years now, and he hasn't ever really broken out. He's always gotten labeled as kind of like a joke of a rapper and this kind of goofball rapper that no one really takes seriously. And I think he attempts to break that title in this album by being more serious, by having more legitimate topics to talk about. But I think while doing that, he said literally nothing throughout the album. Nothing of meaning, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, this was another album I wanted to like before listening because I actually don't mind Big Sean as a guy. I've watched interviews with him. Don't know why I'm doing that, but he seems likable. I find some of his features on other songs to be at least passable. And I did hear his last album, Dark Sky Paradise. I don't know why, but it had some pretty, I feel at least personally, good songs. Blessings, One Man Can Change the World, and I Don't Fuck With You. They're not bad, I feel like, anyway. Maybe it's because of the hype of him being a prodigy of Kanye West, and that does hold some weight in the rap world. I wanted to see what the hype was that at least casual hip-hop fans saw in him. At least on Dark Sky Paradise, at least he had a lot of hooks, and had some decent beats provided by people like Kanye West. But on here, this was a big nothing album to me. Although there's a lot to talk about, he didn't talk about much. For an album called I Decided, he didn't decide on much to talk about.
Yeah, so there's a couple songs on here. So my problem with Big Sean is Big Sean has something going for him. He has a unique style. In his older albums, like I Don't Fuck With You, he had a flow and he had a style that was his.
Yeah.
In this album, he throws all of that out the window, becomes a sleepy rapper like J. Cole, and steals all his styles from Drake. And that pisses me off because the old Big Sean had a style. Although he had terrible content in terms of lyric and stuff, he had a flow and he had a production value that was interesting and unique. Here, he throws all that out and becomes just another nap rapper, and it's kind of obnoxious to hear just a sleepy song after sleepy song after sleepy song. And that's why J. Cole gets so much hate, because he makes a similar style, although his lyricism is supremely better than this.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to this and I couldn't believe how he just had no energy at all on most of these songs. I Don't Fuck With You, that was a really, energetic, bombastic type song. Maybe it wasn't the most, eye-opening or exciting. Well, it was exciting, but, it's not the best song ever, but he had a style with that, I agree. And the only thing I can feel like on here is, even though there were bad lyrics, I feel like there was less than on his past albums. Some of those were completely embarrassing and disposable. But I think he only had that because he abandoned his personality.
I mean,
slightly.
So pretty much the problem here is that he removed some of the bad lyrics for forgettable and generic lyrics instead.
Yeah, I don't know if that's made him better or not.
And
probably not.
I'm definitely not saying you have to be some sort of revolutionary in the rap game. Like Kendrick Lamar has some fantastic lyrics and also some lyrics that are just there for supplemental reasons. Big Sean doesn't even have those fantastic lyrics. All of his lyrics are just kind of there and kind of boring, to be quite fair.
There was one point on the whole album, that's saying something. There was one point where I did hear a lyric that maybe it was just the context of it not being a very good album, especially lyrically, which I think is actually something hip-hop artists should be, considering I feel like that's more of a prevalent lyric-heavy genre than progressive rock, let's say. Lyrics have to stand out, be them good or bad. They have to be memorable at least, and if they're not, then there has to be other elements that complete the package, or at least try and complete it, like atmosphere, beats, flow, and hooks, I guess. But on a lot of these songs, out of these 5 elements, he only had 1 or 2. That's not enough to make a good or even passable song, and that's several times on this album. I just think this is very average. I mean, some pretty good songs emerge in the context of this, but if you listen to them alone, it's just really boring. I thought he'd step up at least a bit from Dark Sky Paradise, but it doesn't look like he did very much.
Yeah, so there's one song that I think I actually enjoyed, was Moves. And
okay, well, it was one of my least favorites, so let's go on that.
So I think that was the only song where he had the old Big Sean personality. Now, regardless, the lyrics were just garbage. I think I only liked the song because it was fun. It was a banger. It was just an enjoyable song to listen to. Now, I'm just gonna stop talking about his lyrics now because there's nothing there to talk about. But that was probably maybe the most bombastic production, the most, I guess, most excitement in his voice throughout the entire album. But that's just what I can think.
Really? I mean, I did not like this song. This is the worst type of song I feel like you could do. It's very lazy. I don't think it was bombastic at all. I thought he was extremely laid back and chilled on this, and I can't get invested in a song like that. He sounds really robotic sounding to me. Like, I know he says I've got the moves, but it really doesn't sound like it. It sounds like he's fallen asleep in it or has no energy. It's just weird to me to have a song saying he has the moves when he doesn't. Also, I know you said you don't want to talk about the lyrics, but I think this had the most offensive on the album, which was, I ain't passing out until I'm asthma attacking. Asthma is no joke. Seriously, asthma is no joke. People die from it, so... I mean,
I'm just laughing because
there's bad
that was
lyrics,
stupid.
and then there's bad lyrics, and then, like I may have said in the other review from Wyclef Jean, I don't get offended easily. I did get offended from that, just because it's so plainly careless of how it affects people's lives. It's just some bad reference point of something out of this world that he doesn't have, probably. Even if he does, he probably shouldn't joke about it, or if he did have it, he probably would be more serious about it. You know, it's no joke. It may sound like a more trivial condition to have than, I don't know, eczema or, I don't know, something else, bronchitis or something, but, you know, it's not. People do die from it. Bad times. So, yeah, that probably contributed more to why it was one of my least favourite than the actual content of the song, but I did not think it was a banner in the least sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it was by best, I mean it was the most okay song in this album. But
my favorite was Voices in My Head, Stick to the Plan.
That was an absolute rip-off of Drake.
What did you think of that?
That was a rip-off of Drake. I'm pretty sure Drake made the same exact song as this. Probably something off of Views or Nothing Was the Same. Is that the album?
I don't know. Well, I've listened to... There was Nothing Was the Same on this song, but I've not listened to Views enough or cared enough about that album to know if it's enough of a... I feel like this is more... Sorry.
I just thought that this song was probably... I said the closest Big Sean gets to meaningful lyrics, and the choruses are meaningful, but then he loses it in the verses because his verses never make any sense. Not once in a song has his verses made sense. And he has a line like subtraction if it isn't adding. What does that mean? I don't understand.
Yeah, but it's better than offending asthmatic people, I guess. But yeah, I know what you mean. We should probably... I mean, from now, it's a given that the lyrics on this are bad. Okay, so...
Yeah, I said...
Although there was one time when I thought they were okay. I'm trying to find it. It was on No Favors, okay.
Yeah, so I thought this song was long, and there was a portion when he raps really fast that was actually interesting.
Yeah,
but
at the end.
I think like most songs on this album are just forgettable. At worst, they're forgettable. There's nothing that really just offended me like offended you. And I think an album full of forgettables is just as bad as a bad album.
Some people say it's worse. Who knows? But I feel like Voices in My Head, Stick to the Plan. I feel like this is more of a paranoid and psychological song than you'd expect from Big Sean, at least. It's like two different sections of a song, I guess. I like the stick to the plan section more because it finally adds some energy to this damn Comatose album. I also like the nice melodic instrumental, you know, because a lot of this just doesn't have it. A lot of this is really weird. There's a lot of the instrumentals are just very empty to me. I also like the nice touch of having backing vocals of being the voices in his head, of his subconscious in his life. I mean, this song vaguely reminds me of Pink Floyd's The Wall in a weird contemporary rap theme of being voices. No, but hear me out. Voices being inside digging away at a star musician and people wanting to stick to the plan. Although, even if he was as good a musician as Roger Waters lyrically, he couldn't hope to compete with one of the best concept albums ever. Still, the fact they made me think of that at least made me appreciate it more than any other song on here. That was probably a stretch, but you know, I'll take what I can get. I thought Bounce Back was okay, didn't
Bounce Back was okay. I thought it was just a catchy song. There's nothing really there wasn't much more than just a catchy aspect to it. There wasn't much like actual content to it that was really good. I mean, it was another Drake ripoff. I can guarantee you that was another Drake ripoff.
You know, I actually have a section in my notes that's the Drake ripoffs / tributes, and neither of these are in it. So
really, I don't know. Saw it.
My Drake ripoffs were "Jump Out the Window," "Owe Me," and "Inspire Me" for some reason. Probably they could all qualify. But yeah, Bounce Back, I thought that was the closest to a banner myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a kind of positive-minded song about how his life will bounce back, and, you know, he cleverly relates it, even if they are crude, like, or out-ass bounce back, or self-gratifying, like check bounce back. You know, he relates it to different aspects of his life. I think this time he had at least a impressive flow, and there was at least a beat during the chorus, because, I mean, a lot of this, weirdly, doesn't have any beats. Have you noticed that?
Jump Out the Window had way too many beats.
Yeah, but some of these were really static.
Yeah, and it really
and
did
I think it has to be
it did just accent the really sleepiness of the album. Like, I could fall asleep to this easily.
I think he has to be commended slightly that he could at least carry a song without necessarily having a strong beat behind him. But it doesn't mean he's good. Also, apparently Kanye West was helping vocally on that, but I did not notice, really.
Yeah, the next song I really want to talk about is No Favors. He had
before you say, that was the one song where I thought he had a decent lyric. It was, "In my lane though, I'm in the same boat as Usain Bolt." Same boat as Usain Bolt. You know, it's not a great lyric, but, you know, some decent wordplay there. Usain Bolt as Usain Bolt.
That. But then he also said,
It's not true though.
He said
he's not in the same boat.
He said thought I had the Midas touch and then went platinum, which is a good lyric, but both Drake and J. Cole have already done that in the mainstream hip hop, and I think he just stole it from them. So.
Oh no, this is the Eminem.
Oh yeah,
Eminem song.
So I like Eminem. I like his older stuff.
I do,
and I enjoy some of his newer stuff. The newest stuff is not good, but the older and middle area stuff has been pretty decent. He came out with Campaign Speech earlier, or maybe late last year, which was a decent song, had some good lyrics, and also had some really cringy lyrics, but that's what Eminem does, has a lot of cringy lyrics. This is exactly Eminem. He has cool rhyme scheme, fantastic rhyme scheme. He has a lot of thought-provoking and interesting lines, but he also has a lot of dumb lines that are just stupid and unnecessary.
It's also really long. It lasted at least 2 minutes.
Yeah, and I personally thought that it didn't really fit, because Big Sean and Eminem are not similar rappers at all. I don't see why that Eminem.
Yeah.
I don't see why they decided to collab in this song, because it didn't really fit together. But that's fine, and it was okay. Eminem was decent. Big Sean, he has a really bad singing voice too. Like, I don't know, he in this album he did a lot of singing portions, and it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, and I didn't actually listen to Campaign Speech, but does Eminem sound similar to he does here on that?
Overtly aggressive.
Okay, the weirdest part about this verse is that it doesn't actually sound like the youthful Eminem. I can only tell it's him from the impressive fast pace he keeps, and he and you know how explicit some of the lyrics are, but he's more deep voiced than I've ever heard him ever do in his life. I've never heard him this hardcore and this deep voiced ever.
Yeah,
I mean, are they?
I
Do you not
agree.
think he sounded quite different on this?
No, I think Eminem has, at least in more recent times, he's definitely become had more deep voice, lost the whimsicality, Slim Shady aspect of himself, and started doing just more aggressive rapping. And I think I kind of miss the old school Eminem where he was just a whimsical, go lucky, happy kind of guy.
But this even sounds different from mid-era, like We Made You, or I'm Not Afraid, or Love the Way You Lie, or even Berserk and Rap God. It sounds very, very drastically different to me. I didn't even know it was him until I checked. I thought it was just some random guy. I mean, are these the type of vocals we have to expect from him now in his mid-40s? Like, aged rap... I mean, he's not great, but he's not terrible. So, I don't know. It's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was an okay feature. Didn't really make sense though.
Yeah.
But besides that, all the other songs were forgettable. I don't even remember what half the songs sound like.
Okay, well, I could... Okay, there's a whole theme to this that was extremely weird to me. Now, on the album cover, there's two people at, I don't know, two different garage doors or whatever. And he said in an interview that one is the current version of him and one is the older version of him. And there's this weird theme through the album where in the intro you hear like a weird guy who sounds like Marlon Brando, who like regrets his life and how he's wasted it, and it sounds like he commits suicide at the end. Were you not thinking, what the hell is this, to open an album?
Yeah, I was like, what is going on here? Like, what? I was so confused.
Yeah, I think I've finally figured out what's going on. So I think that's the older version of him.
So
and like that's him if he didn't have a good life. Like that's a alternate reality version of him. And because when I first heard this, I was like, who is this like weird hobo guy? That's what it sounds like. And then throughout the album, there's like parts where he's talking to him, like his older version of himself. And it's just weird. And like his mum's phoning and he doesn't answer it. And you know, there's a nice, I guess, conversation at the end with his mum. But what is this concept? How does it relate to this album? Is it like I decided not to have a life where I commit suicide at the age of like 65? I don't get it.
Yeah, I was very confused by this entirety of this album, because he has some serious topics, but then he also raps about them in lyrically in a way that removes all the seriousness from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but there's also like Jump Out the Window, which relates back to as if he wants to commit suicide, and there was another like Halfway Off the Balcony. What's going on? Is he like not happy with his life?
I don't know, but he's one of the biggest rappers in the game right now. I don't see why he wouldn't be happy.
Maybe he's unhappy he can't make really great music. I don't know. Same Time Part 1, if you remember that. It's why is the most interesting and dynamic beat on the album on like an interlude mini track?
Yeah, but it didn't really do anything in the album. It was kind of there as a teaser.
It's just a good beat. I mean, it's like a teaser for his duo combo with Gene Aiko, 2088.
Yeah.
I have no idea what this is, but it does not get me hyped for any part 2.
Yeah,
there was also Sacrifices, if you remember that.
Yeah, with Migos. That was with Migos, right?
Yeah, I like the general sentiment of the song.
The beat was great. I love the beat on this song.
He says the weird thing about this is he says there's a lot of things he has to sacrifice in his younger life to become a rapper, but there are a lot of things he doesn't actually need to sacrifice, like the club and the thug life. You don't really have to sacrifice those to become famous, since you actually like can have those lives afterwards. Like you can go to clubs or have a thug life, whatever. Mentality, I guess.
And why
only thing
why would they be sacrifices? Those two things aren't necessary anyways. Like those aren't like requirements to live or things like that. So I don't see why it's like a big deal sacrificing them.
And the only thing you sacrifice to actually become famous is your like private and personal life. So, and he doesn't mention that, so a little weird.
Yeah.
Then again, that is Big Sean and Migos' lives, so I don't know their personal program.
But so with Migos, they come on and they make a show out of every song they're on. I felt this was probably one of their worst features I've heard. And
I mean, I've not consciously heard them before, and I wasn't like amazed by them.
yeah, I think they're probably one of the best trap rappers in the game right now, which isn't saying much, but I put them on like a different pedestal because I don't really because I know they're not gonna have good lyrics. I don't try to look for those lyrics.
I guess.
But they have really good flow and really good just hype material, and it's if you want to turn up to like a rap artist, then it's Migos for sure.
And he also says, wouldn't you have more free time if you're like a musician anyway? Like you're not giving that up that much. I just think of that. I don't actually know. I know that people like Phil Collins was extremely busy in the mid 80s or whatever. You know, he's one of the most busiest performers of all time. Also, he says, I know my great-great-auntie was a slave. I'ma make sure all the blood she gave wasn't in vain. I mean, it's a nice sentiment, I guess, but like it seems ill-informed in a way. Like, does he actually know of a relative in slavery?
And not even that, if he knows it or not. The fact that he's saying that, like, I'm gonna make sure her blood isn't spilled in veins. That you're a rapper. Come on, man. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's almost kind of offensive to people who were slaves. Obviously, there's none out around anymore, but like, yeah, you were a slave, so now I have to make sure that like I'm good enough for you guys. But like, I don't know. I just feel like it was kind of just a really bad lyric.
Like people say, our ancestors did really bad things, but that was a long time ago. It's not implicitly relevant today.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, there was a few other songs I could talk about. I didn't mind Sunday Morning Jetpack. You know, the title being a metaphor for prayers getting sent out to heaven is kind of nice, and how they blessed him with his life. But these songs don't contrast well with songs where it sounds like he wants to commit suicide. He doesn't have a very consistent life.
I think there's another problem that I noticed, kind of with the Brantley Gilbert album. These like not inspirational, like spiritual songs aren't really deserved like in Brantley Gilbert, because he talks about literally like just having sex and going to parties, and other songs like Moves and Bounce Back. And like, I understand if your album is just all the way through just one emotional song after another emotional song, but really I don't think so. It doesn't make so much sense to me. It's not really deserved, like how Cam was saying in the Brantley Gilbert album.
Yeah. My least favourite on here, don't know how I've only gotten onto this now, but Oh Me, the least favourite other than Moves. I mean, maybe it's this is one that was in the Drake rip-off section. I don't know. Most of them are. I know Drake is like the most known lazy soul artist who half sings and half raps, but this does sound interchangeable from a Drake track, and it's not a good one either. I mean, any song saying you owe me for anything conveys a very entitled and crybaby type person with like asshole attributes. That I kind of believe Big Sean only conveys that for a show. Like, I don't believe he actually is like that.
I don't want to think that.
Yeah, you don't want to think that, people. You don't want to think the worst of people. The piano adds like a superficial layer of tenderness and sentimentality to a song where he's basically saying, because the relationship with a girl isn't working out, she owes him sex, and she's so fucking out of line. I mean, maybe she is, but it's very awkward hearing these things like it's a one-sided thing. Like, I don't like songs. I don't know how songs like this are meant to make me feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was just like there was not a song on this album that really just like kind of made it worthwhile. Like, I didn't get one song where I was like, wow, despite this album being absolute garbage, this song is really good. And I felt like that's a problem with this album.
Yeah, at least Dark Sky Paradise had one or two, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really like that one either, but I think I Don't Fuck With You is probably one of my favorite car songs. Just if you're in a car and you want to sing, it's a great song.
Yeah, it's really exciting song. That's the thing. It's the sort of song where you don't want to admit you like it, but you kind of do. And there's no songs on here I'd even admit to like having listened to.
What would you rate it, Alex?
Okay. I'm gonna give it 4 because some of the bad lyrics, it wasn't as many of that. I feel like he's swapped out. This is like a sidestep in his career. Some ways it's better. Like, it's not as embarrassing and there's less, really cringeworthy lyrics. There still are plenty if you're looking for them, but it's weaker. I mean, it's not exciting. It's comatose. It's nothing to be excited about. I mean, I don't know why this is one of the most hyped up rap albums when it's just not very exciting. Could be the views of this year.
Yeah.
Unless something else comes out.
But yeah, so I'm gonna give it a 4 as well. I thought that he lost a lot of that personality he had in the first couple albums. Despite it being still a goofy album and a stupid album, he had a bit of personality. He lost that and replaced it for a sleepy beat, sleepy production, and really monotone Drake stealing vocals. And Big Sean has it. He has something there, but he's not utilizing it, and it's kind of making me upset at this point because we've given him 3 or 4 albums now, and he's still giving us the same garbage over and over again.
The best song he's ever made is probably Control, which I don't think it was even properly released, but it was a cool sort of song that had a lot of rappers on it. I think it had Kendrick Lamar and
Kendrick swept him.
Yeah, but that was actually an okay song. So, is that his peak in his career? That's not good when it's not even readily available. I don't think it's on his Hall of Fame album. It might be, but I can't recall it being.
Yeah. Well, if that's it, thanks for tuning to Busted Speakers. If you enjoyed this review, make sure you like and subscribe. If you want to watch more videos, check out some of our other stuff on our channel, and check us out on social media.